We have, and these are colleagues of mine, we have a division that are recycling, where they are recycling rechargeable batteries. Batteries that come along with laptops, that come along with mobile phones. But then the unit I'm working for, Umicore Precious Metals Refining, there we are concentrating on the intake of complex precious metal bearing material. Talking about electronic scrap, we are mainly thinking about printed circuit boards, components, connectors and mobile phones. The material that we take in, we will ultimately smelt and refine and do it in an environmentally sound way in order to maximally recover up to 17 different metals. Of course, the precious metals, and talking about electronic scrap, people straight away think about gold, but also silver and palladium. Talking about base metals, you can think about copper, nickel, lead, tin and so on. The biggest difference is that we are doing it in an environmentally sound way. We've made the investments for that. We have the control systems in place. We have the strict control of our authorities. And that in countries in Africa or in Asia, that there is hardly any control. That the treatment takes place under very entrepreneurial circumstances, leading to big emissions that are polluting the environment, also leading to big emissions that is harming the health and safety of the people who are doing the refining job. In addition, besides this environmental aspect, there's also a consequence as far as metal recovery is concerned. When we are taking in, let's say, circuit boards, we will recover more than 95% of the gold content, for instance. If they are trying to do the same type of refining of a circuit board, let's say in Africa or India or China, they might only recover up to 25%. So also from an economical resource conservation point of view, there's a huge difference between what an integrated smelter like Umicore can do and what the backyard refiners in Africa or Asia can do. Well, that's indeed true, and this is also something that we see to be a mission of Umicore, to make sure that the informal sector where they are trying to refine the metals now out of circuit boards, that this informal sector more becomes formalized, let's say, and that the refining under poor conditions on the longer run will stop in countries like India and China, but that on the contrary, the circuit boards they have available there, primarily out of their own domestic waste, will get treated properly at a company like Umicore. This will give them a lot of advantages. Clearly from an environmental point of view, no more pollution, also no more impact on their personal health and safety, but also from an economical financial point of view. Because currently they're only recovering 25% of the gold. If material is sent over to us, we can recover and pay them for, let's say, 95% of the gold, including a payment for other metals like silver and copper, for instance. And I think there is a kind of a win-win situation whereby they will have the possibility to get more, to earn more, and as a side consequence, not unimportantly, they will also have a better health and a better situation for the environment at large. Umicore, however, cannot do this on its own, and for that purpose we have been cooperating with international organizations like EMPA and GTZ from Germany, for instance. Well, I think that ECOGuard can really be a kind of a leading project here in Italy, making companies more aware about the potentials of e-scrap recycling and also about the intrinsic risks of e-scrap recycling. If you really do a very good, and that's also one of the objectives of ECOGuard as I understood it, if you really want to do a very good tracking down the recycling chain, checking step by step what is happening to the material, to the final step of processing, then you're already doing a good job. If you include to that not only the merely valuable metals will be recovered, but that also the potentially hazardous or scarce metals will be recovered, thinking about lead, antimony, tin and so on, then of course you are adding an additional aspect, an additional dimension to, I would say, the recycling concept, the recycling chain. And we must say that ECOGuard, at least that's our interpretation, has taken a leading position here, not only in Italy, but probably also within the European Union. And this is very positive, of course. Well, first of all, I would say that there is a change in mentality is needed amongst all stakeholders, starting with consumer, going over the OEMs, the producers, to authorities and to companies active in recycling. We should look at recycling and e-scrap recycling in particular as an opportunity. not as something that is a nuisance, not as a burden, but really as an opportunity. Taking into account that if we do it properly, there will be so many advantages. There will be an advantage for our environment. There will be an advantage also for industry, for businesses. And there will also be opportunities for businesses, and there will also be advantages for the population at large. Because typically in collection of e-scrap and in preparation of e-scrap, dismantling, shredding, you see that a lot of people, low-skilled people, can find a job. So there's also a social dimension in that, a dimension of creating labor. And of course, we are living in a global world. And globalization can have people can be in favor or can be against it. But one thing is for sure, that a so-called local environmental problem tends to get globalized, whether we like it or not. So we should also go for international cooperation. Not only think about what is happening in Belgium, where we are living, or where I'm living, or what is happening in Italy, but look at it at a European level at first, and at a later stage also look at it from a global point of view, going for global cooperation through United Nations organizations, for instance. I think that would be a good forum to try to establish also there a global cooperation. I'm thinking about, in that context, about the STEP initiative, that is an initiative of United Nations University that really has this global approach, this global view on things, and that is positive. So I think, Federico, this was about my third wish.